G'day everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a revolutionary method that can help you master any skill in just 30 days. Imagine the possibilities. Whether it's learning a new language, mastering a musical instrument, or even honing your cooking skills, this method is your ticket to rapid skill acquisition. Now, you might be wondering, how is it even possible to learn any skill in such a short time? Well, it's all about the approach. Our method involves breaking down the skill into manageable chunks, focusing on deliberate practice and constant self-assessment. It's a journey, a process, a challenge, and an achievement all rolled into one. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand this method but also be ready to apply it to your own learning endeavors. So if you're ready to take your skill learning to the next level, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Our first step in this method is identifying the skill you want to learn. It's crucial to choose something that both sparks your interest and presents a challenge. Why, you ask? Well, the interest keeps you motivated, and the challenge ensures you're constantly growing and improving. Think about it. Maybe you've always wanted to learn a new language. Bonjour, French. Or perhaps you've been itching to master the art of baking. Who doesn't love the smell of fresh bread in the morning? Or it could be something as complex as coding. Yes, you can learn to code in 30 days. The beauty of this method is its versatility. It works with a wide range of skills. You could choose to improve your public speaking, learn to play a musical instrument, or even get better at chess. The options are limitless as long as it's something you genuinely want to learn. Remember, the goal here isn't to become a world-class expert in 30 days. It's about making significant progress, about going from zero to being proficient. It's about the journey of learning and the thrill of seeing yourself improve day by day. So let's pause for a moment. Think about a skill that you've always wanted to learn but never got around to. Something that excites you and makes you want to jump right in. Got it? Good. So have you decided on your skill? Great. Let's move to the next step. Now that we've identified our skill, it's time to break it down into smaller, manageable tasks. Here, we step into the world of chunking, a concept that's about to become your best friend on this 30-day journey. You see, chunking is like a secret weapon for learning. It's the practice of splitting a large task, or in our case, a skill, into smaller, manageable bits. Think about it. If you're learning to play the guitar, you don't just pick it up and strum a perfect tune. You start by learning the chords, then move on to strumming patterns, and finally, you combine them to create beautiful music. That's chunking in action. Now you might wonder why this is essential. Well, our brains are wired to process and remember small pieces of information better than large chunks. Breaking things down helps our brains to digest the information more effectively, making learning smoother and faster. Let's take another example. Suppose you want to learn a new language, say French. You wouldn't start by trying to read an entire French novel. Instead, you'd start with the alphabet, then move on to basic words and phrases, then sentences, and so on. Each of these is a chunk, a piece of the puzzle that when put together forms the entire picture. So how do you go about chunking your skill? Start by understanding the skill as a whole. Then, identify the fundamental components that make up that skill. From there, divide it into sub-skills or tasks that you can focus on individually. Remember, each of these tasks should be something you can learn and master within a short period. But don't stress if you don't get it right the first time. Chunking is as much an art as it is a science. It may take a few tries to figure out the right way to break things down, and that's perfectly okay. Remember, the key here is to make it manageable. Now let's get to the next step. With our skill broken down, the next step is practice, practice, and more practice. It's a simple concept, but it's where the magic happens. You see, when we practice, we're essentially programming our brains. We're creating new neural pathways, strengthening connections, and building muscle memory. It's like paving a road. The more you travel it, the smoother it becomes. But how do you incorporate practice into your daily routines? Well, the secret lies in making it a habit. Habits by nature are automatic. They don't require willpower or conscious thought. By making practice a habit, you're making it part of your day, not an extra task on your to-do list. So, how do we form a practice habit? You could start with something called habit stacking. Essentially, you attach your new habit, in this case practicing your skill, to an existing habit. For example, if you're learning a new language, you could practice your vocabulary while you're having your morning coffee. Another trick is to make practice enjoyable. Let's face it, if it feels like a chore, you're less likely to stick with it. So, find ways to make it fun. Use apps, games, or even challenge a friend to learn with you. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfect right away, but to improve little by little each day. And don't forget to mix up your practice. Variety is not just the spice of life, but also the spice of learning. It keeps your brain engaged and helps you avoid the plateau of progress. So switch up your routines, try different techniques, and keep things fresh. Finally, practice patience. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your skill. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You'll have good days and not so good days. But remember, it's all part of the journey. Consistent practice is the key to mastery. Now, let's look at the final step. Our final step in this method is to reflect on our progress and make necessary adjustments. As we journey through the process of skill acquisition, it's paramount to take a pit stop, not to rest, but to reflect. Reflection is like a mirror. It shows us where we are in our skill journey, what we've done right, and most importantly, where we need to improve. It's a process of self-evaluation, a critical examination of our progress, and the effectiveness of our practice routines. Imagine you're learning to play the guitar, and you've been struggling with a particular chord. You've practiced it repeatedly, but it just doesn't sound right. This is where reflection comes into play. You take a step back, analyze your finger placement, your strumming technique, and you realize you've been placing your finger on the wrong fret all along. Now that's a classic example of reflection in action. But reflection isn't just about identifying what's wrong. It's equally about recognizing what's going right. Maybe you've been making stellar progress with your French pronunciation, or perhaps your coding skills are coming along nicely. Acknowledging these wins is just as important as identifying areas for improvement. It boosts your confidence and further fuels your motivation to learn. However, reflection alone isn't enough. It's like diagnosing a problem, but not treating it. That's where adjustment comes into the picture. Adjustment is the action part of the equation. It's about making necessary changes to your practice routines based on your reflections. Sticking with our guitar example, once you've identified the issue with your chord, you adjust. You change your finger placement, adjust your strumming, and voila, the chord sounds just right. That's the power of adjustment. It's the magic ingredient that turns stumbling blocks into stepping stones. So, as we wrap up this step, remember to consistently reflect on your progress. Acknowledge your wins, identify areas for improvement, and most importantly, make necessary adjustments. Because without reflection and adjustment, learning is like driving in the dark with no headlights. Remember, reflection and adjustment are essential to mastering any skill. Now, let's wrap this up. So, there you have it. A method that can help you learn any skill in 30 days. Let's do a quick recap, shall we? We started by identifying the skill we wanted to master. Remember, specificity is key here. We then broke this skill down into manageable chunks, making the process less overwhelming. Afterwards, we emphasized the importance of practice, highlighting that consistency is crucial. We also touched on the significance of reflection and adjusting our approach accordingly. We've shared a journey of progress and results, demonstrating that this method is not just theoretical, but practical too. We've seen the transformation that can occur when one dedicates themselves to learning a new skill, and the satisfaction that comes with it. This method is not a magic potion, but a practical guide that requires commitment and effort. The beauty of it all, it can be applied to any skill you wish to acquire. Whether it's a new language, a musical instrument, or a technical skill, this method provides a framework to guide you. And as always, the journey of learning is one that is best shared. So, we encourage you to share your progress and results with this method. You never know who you might inspire or motivate along the way. Thank you for watching. Give this method a try and let us know how it goes. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned for more exciting videos.